Hey everyone, welcome back to the Poplar Report. Normally I don't have visuals, but today we will be showing you a lot of stuff on the screen, so this will be one that you want to look at, but it'll be fine if you just listen along, if you use it for podcasting, that type of thing. All right, so Russian troops in New York, and that's not clickbait, that is actually true. And we also have things heating up in Tehran, in Iran, and we have civil war trending on Twitter. We got a lot of stuff to cover. News from all over the place. Donald Trump is going to be doing an interview with a very interesting character to announce lots and lots of stuff. Let's jump right into it. Without further ado, if I can get the right button there. All right, so as you can probably ascertain, New York is actually in Ukraine, and so the town of village of New York is actually been captured by Russians who have been making more and more advances out there. And there is footage there, drone footage of them raising the flag over the city, over the town there. And that's kind of a big deal. And it's kind of in keeping with what's going on out there. We have basically the Ukrainians have launched several counterattacks. They've tried to push into Russia, and it has not gone well for them. In fact, it's been actually pretty devastating. A lot of armored vehicles, a lot of tanks have been destroyed, and heavy casualties on their attack without making much headway. They got cut off, and then the Russians just pounded them. So we're seeing that out there. Things are not going well over in Ukraine, even with the F-16 supposedly getting delivered. The Russians are out there basically telling everyone kind of what just happened, and that has also led to significant gains all across the front, including the town of New York. All right, moving on from Ukraine over to Iran. All government offices and facilities, as well as banks across Tehran and Al-Borz provinces of central Iran, will be closed tomorrow, with authorities claiming a significant rise in temperature for the closings. Interesting that this is spoken about today, that they are closing down everything. And one has to wonder if the real reason that they're closing things down is if they're retaliation will start today, right? That's definitely a concern there. This is coming from Wall Street Journal. U.S. officials have told Wall Street Journal that they're worried Iran has learned from their last attack against Israel. This is something I've been saying so far, is that I know a lot of people were saying basically the last attack on Israel back in April was just for show. They weren't actually trying to hit Israel. They're trying to make it easy for U.S., Israel, and its allies to shoot down the missiles. They were just trying to do it for show. I really don't think that's the case. I think that they really did try legitimately, and they really just got surprised at how effective the anti-aircraft capabilities were, and I think they were also surprised at how much participation went into this. They launched from all over the place. They didn't expect Jordan to open up with their air batteries. They probably expected to get through Jordanian airspace without being having their missiles shot down. They also didn't realize how much anti-missile and anti-aircraft capabilities the United States had in Syria and Iraq. And so I think that they were really surprised by how much was shot out of the air, and they were expecting more to get through. So they probably, when they do this again over the next day or two, we actually have some officials out there saying that they have been waiting, and that's part of the punishment for Israel. So actually, I think it's probably more the issue of it's taking them a while to get their ducks in a row. Logistics. I keep saying it. Don't look at the operational people, look at the logistics. And the logistics are what take the time. Logistics are what win the war. And the simple fact is logistics are hard. And it's taking them a lot of time to get this attack organized. Israel can turn around and hit again and again and again because their logistics are so good. They've put a lot of time and effort into that. But the simple fact is trying to coordinate Hezbollah in multiple different countries, the Houthis and Iranian Revolutionary Guard people, and then you got to get the Gaza people on board, and then you got to get the West Bank people on board, and it just becomes this massive, colossal nightmare of trying to coordinate everybody. And so that's probably what's holding things up, not some grand strategy. But anyway, they did launch an attack. This is probably the Hezbollah in Iraq. They attacked a U.S. base. Initial reports were that several people, Americans, were killed, but actually it was just 7 U.S. personnel were injured. No fatalities. At least that's what we're being told, and that seems to be holding up. All right, what was trending on Twitter yesterday? Civil war, Jewish VP, and Kamala's VP. Obviously, Josh Shapiro did not get the tap for VP, and that has a lot of people talking about the fact that it was because he's Jewish. And given the anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party, that's a concern out there. Speaking of concerns, this is a little more for funsies, but Wall Street Silver says things I'm worried about. And somewhere on there is Kamala Harris, but the rest of it is that thing that's right there on the screen. All right. So we did also see the report that merchant was charged with an assassination attempt on Trump. Now he was arrested on July 12th, right before the July 13th assassination attempt, right? And this is a really interesting one. Once again, this is somebody coming in, or somebody who ended up interacting only with FBI agents, who he thought he was hiring hitmen to take out Donald Trump. But in fact, he was just talking to FBI people. And then the next day, this guy was an Iranian apparently recruited because he was a Pakistani. He spent a bunch of time in Iran just before coming to the United States. He gets in here and he starts using tradecraft. He starts using code words, and more so than what I do, right? Using code words to make sure things and keeping phones out of the room when having certain conversations. Just what he was doing, and he was throwing around a whole bunch of cash in order to try to hire these hitmen, and that's that kind of indicates that this was that he was trained, that he was handled in order to go over to New York City and do this. Now, a lot of the reports out there are just saying former government officials, but the simple fact is that he was targeting President Donald Trump, and this just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. The guy that ended up who did take the shot at Donald Trump was on the FBI radar, but they didn't get him. But they got this guy who never actually had a chance at getting close to Donald Trump. So, protecting us from non-threats, but when there is a threat, they're nowhere to be seen. All right. Speaking of non-threats / threats, North Korea, they've transferred 250 ballistic missile launchers to the border. And this is probably in the category of probably a threat, unless they're filled with water. And with North Korea, one can never know, because North Korea just held a party to celebrate the deployment of 250 nuclear-capable Hwasong 11 missile launchers. Each launcher carries 4 missiles. That's 1,000 new missiles, not counting the reloads. North Korea plans a much, much bigger nuclear arsenal than you may think. And then also in that thread, which was interesting, is that Kim Jong-un says that he designed the missiles himself. So maybe not so much a threat, right? or maybe somebody else designed them, or the Russians designed them, and he's just claiming the credit for it. All right, we got an update from Donald Trump out there. On Monday night, I'll be doing a major interview with Elon Musk. Details to follow. Of course, that's on his Truth Social. But apparently he is going to get on X and actually do an interview with Elon Musk. So, which is kind of odd because Elon Musk is usually the one getting interviewed. But he apparently is going to do an interview. So I'm not sure if he's going to be hosting it and or what. It sounds like it. That should be interesting. That should be an interesting conversation at the very least. All right. Some news out of Israel as we're kind of waiting for the retaliatory strike from Iran. Emergency satellite phones being distributed to Israeli cabinet ministers so that functions and operations can continue, even if infrastructure gets hit. Hezbollah has begun the evacuation of bases and facilities across the suburbs, so basically in South Beirut, including the command and operations center in the city. So basically, they're distributing their assets, their missiles, and their personnel, basically in anticipation of large-scale airstrikes from Israel. Iran has reportedly told the Arab nations through diplomatic channels, including Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, and the UAE, that if they attempt to intervene in their response, basically if they try shooting down those missiles, they will be targeted as well. Iran saying that they will start launching on these other countries if those other countries try to intercept the drones and missiles flying over them. Saudi Arabia has already responded to that and said basically, if anything enters our airspace, we will not be defending Israel. We'll be defending ourselves because these things should not be in our airspace. Just to give you an idea of some of the things that kind of went down on Monday, a whole lot of stuff broke. And one of the things that broke, when there's a lot of volatility, when there's a lot of interest and everybody tries to log into their brokerage accounts, naturally, the brokerage accounts can't handle that much traffic. So Charles Schwab, Ameritrade, Fidelity, Vanguard, and a bunch of these others had a lot of hiccups on Monday. They had a lot of people that couldn't log in. They couldn't get access to stuff. And this is just another thing. Don't play games with the stock market, okay? You need to be comfortable with your positioning. You can't be like, well, the last moment, I'm going to jump in there and I'm going to change everything. Okay, stock trader, make sure you're paying extra for a platform that's stable, because when there's a lot of volatility and everyone jumps into these platforms, your system's either going to work or it's not. Anyway, just to give you some other ideas of what happened on Monday, Japan's Nikkei stock market went down over 4,000 points, the largest drop in its history. In case you're kind of wondering, like, how big of a deal Monday was. Another aspect, and this is the United States, VIX, so the volatility index, it was the third biggest crisis in history, right after COVID and the 2008 Lehman Brothers collapse. So just to give you an idea of how much stuff has been moving, how much of a problem what happened on Monday. And if you're like, oh, it's over, we're all good, let's just keep on moving forward. It's like, no, this was a big deal. Something snapped. Something big snapped. And just because it bounced back a bit, as they say, a dead cat drop, right? A dead cat bounce. Sorry. Basically, the idea is that if you drop a cat from a high enough building, it will bounce, even if it's dead. Okay. And if it drops far enough, the stock market will bounce somewhat. Now, we have a lot of people buying into the dip. So a lot of hedge funds that were sitting on the sidelines bought a lot of stuff on Monday. They saw it drop and they just went jumping on in because they're like, the central banks are going to save us. And the central banks probably will save the stock market at some point. But I think they're a little early. But we'll see. Maybe they have insider information on what the central banks are going to do. But Japan pulled out all stops to try to save their stock market, and that did seem to stem the blood flow. But we'll see how things go. Tuesday, things were a little bit better, but we're still waiting to see if there's another shoe to drop. I really think that the oil price is about to go through the roof, and I believe that will kick the market right in the teeth. All right, God's prepared warrior. I have just been told that insulin will be out of stock at the Walmart where I pick up my meds. In talking to the pharmacist, he stated that they are being told 3 weeks till the next shipment. I have since gone back and they are still on back order. Now he states he doesn't know when a shipment will come in. This is concerning. I don't use it that often, but there are times I do need it. I cannot imagine those who depend on this medication daily. This is anonymous. Kroger, East Central Mississippi. For 6 months, I have not received the private selection hams or 5-pound bags of sunflower cornmeal and quick grits that I ordered for pickup. Limits on so many grocery items, especially dairy, for the past 6 months. Why are there limits? Don't they want to sell stuff? I also have to accept substitutions for several items, which does not make me happy. Toothpaste, I switched to the Himalaya Complete Care Fluoride Free a few years back. Warwick Avenue. Update Publix. Formosa Kitchens is low on coffee too. Notice I could see the back walls and brackets, mostly canned coffee. Update Bardstown, Kentucky, Walmart. You have to order the engine oil there. Joy in the South, Walmart. Great Value Sweetener has been out of stock for months. Sam's Club, Members Mark Classic Coffee, 48-ounce can, is non-existent for several months as well. All right. Roxy says, update, there is a blood shortage in Florida. I am receiving chemo. My platelets are unusually low. Or usually low, I guess. Several nurses told me that they changed and adjusted the blood transfusion protocol because of the blood shortage. We talked about this. There was a hack on the system, the network that was supplying blood to 350 hospitals down the south, which has caused a immediate blood shortage across the area. That means that below 10, I receive platelets, but only one bag of 1,000 units. Same with the blood transfusion. If your hemoglobin is below 8, you get it. There was a lady with the hemoglobin of 6.2. She should receive 2 bags, but she only got 1 because of the blood shortage. This is impacting real people, the stuff that we talk about here. If you have updates that you want to send in, please use the word update in your comment on this video or any video on this channel. And if you guys like this new format, where I'm showing the things on the screen and showing some more visuals, I'll probably do more maps and stuff like that. I kind of did this on a whim, but let me know down in the comments down below. Eagle of the Sacred Heart update. In Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, the Irish Nationalists, Catholics, and the Ulster Loyalists, the Protestants, have united against the unchecked migration and unchecked violence committed by the Muslims against natives. These two groups historically have been at odds and have even killed each other. The apathy of the British government has united them. When will we see that in the United States? Tug Hill says, update, still not finding cottage cheese in 3 stores. Nothing. Walmart, Aldi, and Lidl. Also saw the shipping container and fenced at Walmart in Virginia Beach. It was a Walmart marketplace. Can't see it being used for layaway at that store because they don't have layaways at the grocery stores. Yep. We're hearing a bunch of stories about that. Yeah. Update from Rex Shaw. North Alabama, Sam's Club has a limit of 2 cartons of eggs in the 2 dozen packages. More and more shortages in the fact that we have limits on things. And I got a quote for you for today. This is from C.S. Lewis. When the whole world is running towards a cliff, he who is running in the opposite direction appears to have lost his mind. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us today. Please do keep those updates coming in. If you want to check out another video, there's one right on the screen from this channel. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report